Happy February 11th. JLD here, and welcome to Strategy Today. In this show, we talk about over 478,000 Bitcoin acquired by Strategy to date. Is Michael Saylor ever going to stop? I don't think so. We talk about convertible bonds, what that path could look like to issuing those converts. We also talk about the zombie zone. You're going to want to check that one out. A long-term thesis for strategy by Strategy, one of my favorite influencers in the strategy space. I have a book recommendation that I'm going to share at the end that you're not going to want to miss. I love it personally. And we're going to talk about an amazing Michael Saylor video clip where he talks about going all in and so much more. First off, this is not financial advice. And secondly, please comment below. Where are you watching from? What are you doing right now? Are you walking your dog? Are you drinking coffee? Are you having a drink in the evening because you're somewhere else that's not in the Western Hemisphere? I love all the comments. Let's keep that very active down there. Some great conversations are happening, and let's dive in. All right, and we'll start with the Bitcoin Archive, who shares breaking Michael Saylor's strategy just bought another 7,633 Bitcoin worth 742 million. Saylor, keep on stacking, brother. And Ben Workman follows up by saying MSTR adds 7,633 Bitcoin to their holdings using proceeds from the strike offering and the ATM. There is 4.17 billion remaining on the ATM. Relentless execution of a strategy. Yes, it is, and I love it. I think it was something over 500 million was from the preferred, and then the other 200 million came from the ATM and making that happen. Let's talk about a post from Chris, who shares Saylor has now bought Bitcoin for 13 consecutive weeks, excluding blackout periods, with a total of 478,740. Strategy is now 47.8% of the way to one Nakamoto. And you know Saylor's looking for that Nakamoto. For every 1,000 that Bitcoin increases, Strategy's balance sheet increases by 478 million. I mean, just think about that for a second. When you wake up in the morning and Bitcoin's gone from 95,000 to 96,000, that means the Strategy's balance sheet just increased by $478 million. That is a company that you invested in. That is your flywheel effect in effect. I love it. It's so exciting. I mean, just wait till Bitcoin starts pumping. The dollars are going to start flying. And the Strategy watch, because Chris always has this great graphic, 13 consecutive weeks, total Bitcoin, percentage of the way to Nakamoto, and how much we're increasing for every 1,000 Bitcoin gain. Insane times. I love it. Dan Hillary shares, the calm before the storm will be how we remember next month. And I think this is very well said and so true. I mean, I think February and March are going to be very interesting, very volatile, very exciting, to the upside, to the downside, and everything in between. So let's strap in, my friends. We have a ride ahead. Bitcoin Overflow says, I see before MSTR two potential paths. One, grind out the remaining 4.17 billion of ATM over the next 4 weeks before restarting the CBs. Two, immediately announce a new CB after filing his 10K later this week. Which way, Saylor Man? Now, I would love for those that are watching right now, comment below. Which way do you think Saylor is going to go? Which way do you want Saylor to go? I mean, I personally think it's a win-win. I mean, we win with the ATM because our Bitcoin yield and our Bitcoin gain increases. We definitely win with the convertible bond offerings for obvious reasons. And there's 18 billion of that left. So exciting times. Let's go. Grain of Salt shares, in the next year or so, individuals that own Bitcoin, spot Bitcoin ETFs, MSTR, and Bitcoin Treasury Company shareholders will not tell their friends and family about their success. There will be signs, early retirement, house upgrades, and so on. Most people will struggle. This wealth transformation will occur as robots and AI take jobs from the marginal. The future will be a mix of utopia and dystopia. Please choose wisely. Grain of Salt, uber bull, but I love it. Okay, great post from Eric Semler. Welcome to the zombie zone, where I'll be spotlighting companies that can unlock shareholder value by adopting the Bitcoin standard. Saylor has identified thousands of zombie companies, public companies sitting on cash reserves that earn a negative real yield. He urges them to break free by making Bitcoin their primary treasury reserve asset. Why settle for T-bills yielding 4%? below the corporate cost of capital, when Bitcoin has delivered 40% plus returns. Last year, this message resonated with our board at Semler. Until recently, Semler Scientific was a zombie company. In May 2024, we answered Saylor's clarion call. I love that. One more time. We answered Saylor's clarion call, becoming the second American public company after MSTR to adopt Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset. Since then, we've used our operating cash flow, ATM, and convertible notes to acquire 3,192 Bitcoin, achieving a 152% Bitcoin yield. Our stock has nearly tripled since embracing the Bitcoin standard 9 months ago. We're grateful for Saylor's vision. Other public companies should follow suit. I've identified several prime candidates for Bitcoin treasuries, companies plagued by poor stock performance and sluggish growth, despite having high net cash balances and sustainable profitability and free cash flow. Stay tuned here as I unveil several zombie companies hiding in plain sight. Go, Eric. I will be tuning in. Let's do it. I want to next share a post from MicroStrategy. Bitcoin is a network of intelligent people, but even Bitcoiners struggle with leverage. Most veteran traders here will have blown a few accounts over the years. Saylor is different. He bought Bitcoin through a whole cycle, used billions of dollars of leverage, and didn't get liquidated once. Now we have almost 500,000 coins. Saylor practices the intelligent use of leverage. He doesn't get blown up. Bitcoin is the medium through which Saylor imparts his intelligence to the universe. Saylor is using Bitcoin to bring his intelligence everywhere. Light bulb, ding. And MicroStrategy's got this great post I wanted to share about his long-term strategy thesis. This is how we touch down on Mars. While I agree with Jeff Park that our arbitrage opportunity will eventually end, I do not agree that our ability to raise external finance will end with it. Far too bearish for my taste. Here's how we go from 2025 to utopia in 7 simple steps. 1. Strategy amasses Bitcoin with external financing arbitrage. 2. More Bitcoin equals more finance equals more Bitcoin. Collateral finance reflexivity. Hat tip to George Soros, a Strategy shareholder. 3. Strategy's Bitcoin demand increases with Bitcoin price increase, as opposed to other market participants who cannot scale demand with Bitcoin price increase, i.e. plebs and late entrants. 4. The arbitrage will only cease when there is no Bitcoin available for purchase, as A, Bitcoin is finite, and B, USD is infinite, and C, strategy represents an exception to the law of demand as described above. 5. If and when Bitcoin supply is temporarily exhausted, bids but no asks, demand for our Bitcoin-backed securities will increase, as they are the next best alternative, and therefore our ability to raise external finance will increase too. I say temporarily, as new BTC liquidity will be from time to time unlocked at higher prices, or when there is a change in the elasticity of supply as a hodler. 6. Next dollars raised through external financing post arbitrage will be used to invest in mining and energy infrastructure, as mining will, by definition, be the only way to acquire new Bitcoin. This is the only logical use of the proceeds of new raises for an entity on a Bitcoin standard if no BTC asks are available, ignoring possibility of share buybacks. 7. Society will benefit as a whole through ongoing support of the Bitcoin network post block reward and through our enormous energy infrastructure investment. This investment will bring down the cost of energy for all, fund interplanetary travel, usher in the golden age of humanity, and finally, bring intelligence everywhere. We can debate the time frame. The onus is on critics of my thesis to explain why the rising price of Bitcoin will reduce our quantity demanded, or why we would not be able to continue to raise finance. I note that we are already leveraging our Bitcoin for the greater good of society through the issuance of our securities, which have outperformed all competition. Strategy for the Super Bowl win. And now I have a great clip from Michael Saylor about going all in. Michael, take it away.
How many chairs are you sitting on right now?
One.
Are you all in on the chair?
I am all in on the chair.
Like the point really is you put on one pair of glasses, you've got one pair of AirPods right now. You're looking at me through one screen. You're using one microphone. That's a one microphone. Like, you trust it? Is that conviction? Seems kind of scary. Why don't you diversify? Why don't you use 10 microphones? The point really is things in your life, do you drive in 10 cars at the same time or one car at one time? Do you drive down one street? Aren't you afraid that you're driving down one street? Do you take a different way? You know? So my point really is, if you're you get on one airplane, are you convicted? You put your entire family on the one airplane, aren't you afraid? Ultimately, if you're a rational individual, when you use knives, do you have copper knives, wooden knives, steel knives, aluminum knives, rubber band knives, diamond knives, because you're afraid to commit to the right knife? It's a tool. So ultimately, what I'm saying here is an engineer would look at this and say, I use glass for my windows. I don't use aluminum for my windows because I can't see through the aluminum, right? I use steel beams. People used to use wooden beams. Steel beams work better, right? I use copper for wires because electricity goes through copper better. I don't use aluminum for wires, right? Am I a radical, convicted, fanatic investor? Or am I just like a rational person that uses copper for wires because copper works better, right? And my point here is, you live in a society and things are going awry. If you did live in a country and the food supply was cut off, the electricity got turned off, the currency collapsed, and there were riots in the streets, would you still just kind of hang out and use the same rules of thumb you've been using? Or would you say, I think I'm going to exit via the airport where there are no riots if I can get on that plane, and I'm going to go somewhere else? Not because I'm convicted, not because I'm radical, not because I'm a risk taker. No, I'm just going to do it because I'm an intelligent human being, and I notice that it's getting uncomfortable where I am right now. And so that's the way I see this. It's just thinking for yourself, using reason.
And there you have it, another episode of Strategy Today. But we have a few things before we let you go right now, because it is Tracker Tuesday. So we're on the new strategy.com website. You can see I'm on the BTC tab where the Bitcoin price is 98,000. The Bitcoin yield is 4.1%. The Bitcoin gain is 18,527. Exciting times. The Bitcoin NAV is 46,933. The 2024 Bitcoin yield was 74.3% with a Bitcoin gain of 140,538. Let's see if we can beat that in 2025. Let's go, Saylor. Here's the book that I wanted to recommend. This is a post from Adam Livingston. I use his tweets, his X posts all the time because they're A, very bullish, and I love that because why not be optimistic? And B, they're really well thought out and detailed. So Adam, thank you for those. But his new book, The Bitcoin Age, is here. You can go ahead and read through this if you so desire, but basically, Bitcoin isn't just money, it's the future of capital. Let's spread the signal. And then this is the book, The Bitcoin Age, your guide to the future of value, wealth, and power. I've already got this book. I'm already reading it. I'm about halfway through. It's a very enjoyable read. Adam's a great writer. So I highly recommend this. I'll have the link in the show notes. So Adam, congratulations on this. And here's to many more great Twitter and X posts and books as well, and sharing the love. Let's move into my DCA of the week. I did on February 7th at 10:27 a.m. I bought at $334, 0.63 share of MSTR for $210 as I continue my journey to acquire $210 of MSTR every single trading day of 2025. If you checked out my Saturday episode, I went through my whole entire DCA portfolio. I'm currently down 5%. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming months, but I'll keep you updated on that as I buy every single day. Remember, this is not financial advice. I would love your comments below. So if you got value from this, these videos take a lot of time to put together. So take a second, take a couple minutes, provide a comment below. I would love it. Where you're watching from, what you're doing, a like and a share. So appreciated. Let's spread this love together. All those metrics count so much on YouTube, spreading this show to get other people excited about our company Strategy. And until next time, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.